and gentlemen, please rise for the academic processional.
We ask you to please continue standing as the UMass Boston Chamber Singers sing the national anthem.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Emily McDermott, and I am the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Thank you to the UMass Boston Chamber Singers and to David Giesau, the conductor, for that very special rendition of the national anthem. And thank you to the UMass Boston Police Department Honor Guard. We appreciate all that you and your colleagues do to keep our campus safe, and we're proud to have you here. Welcome to the academic year 2019-2020 convocation ceremony of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I now have the pleasure of introducing Interim Chancellor Catherine Newman.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really honored to be with you here today. Before we get started, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our faculty, to the staff, to the students, to our student leaders, and the senior leadership team who are joining me here on the stage. And of course, to our very distinguished guests, Trustee Mary Burns, Trustee Rick Kelleher, our student trustee, Kush Patel, the president of the Alumni Association, Donna Marie McGuire, Pat Marshall, the Department of Higher Education's Deputy Commissioner for Academic Affairs and Student Success, our Columbia Point neighbor, Mary Grant, the president of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute, and our very own Talita Guerrero from the class of 2015, who you will be hearing from later on this morning. Our esteemed guest of honor, Mayor Martin J. Walsh, will be joining us a little bit later. But I do want to thank all of you for being here as part of this celebration of the official opening of the 2019-20 academic year here at UMass Boston. I now have the great pleasure of introducing our representative from the Board of Trustees, Mary Burns. Please welcome Trustee Burns.
Thank you, Chancellor Newman. May I offer a big welcome to all of you and a personal thank you to you for all that you do for the University of Massachusetts Boston. We appreciate your support. It's my honor to welcome you here today to today's celebration and bring you greetings on behalf of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees. The UMass Board of Trustees, which includes 2 UMass Boston alumni and student trustee Kush Patel, believes in the transformative power of public higher education. We believe in the University of Massachusetts. We believe in UMass Boston's unique mission, and most importantly, we believe in you and how in just a few short years, you will be walking away from this campus with a degree in hand, ready to take on the world. But for now, you must focus on lectures, labs, and lunch. We believe in the ability of Chancellor Newman, the incredible UMass Boston faculty, the dedicated staff, and the talented and hardworking students to continue this university's trajectory of excellence in research, innovation, teaching, and scholarship. And as chair of the UMass Board of Trustees Advancement Committee, I want to offer special congratulations to you, Chancellor Newman, and to Vice Chancellor Adam Wise on a record-breaking year of fundraising gifts to this campus. It shows what we all know, and that is UMass Boston is on the move. Thank you to all of you again who make this University of Massachusetts, Boston, and the entire system a world-class public research university, and congratulations on the start of a new academic year. Have a great year, study hard, have some fun, support each other, support UMass Boston, and finally, let's go Beacons. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Burns, for your steadfast commitment to this campus and for the support you provide us. Well, following the traditions of convocations past, I want to take a moment to recognize the winner of the 2019 John W. Ryan Award. This is an award bestowed annually on the junior with the highest grade point average at the university. It's named for the very first chancellor of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and the Ryan Award commemorates our first convocation and celebrates excellence in our student body. I am honored to announce this year's winner, Irwa Kanwal. Irwa, would you please join me up here on the stage? Just wait till you hear what Irwa has done to earn that applause. She has compiled an absolutely stellar record, a cumulative grade point average of 4.0. She has earned a place on the Dean's List for 4 consecutive semesters. Irwa is a graduate of Barnstable High School and a member of the Honors College, where she's studying biology in the College of Science and Mathematics. Irwa is considering a career in medicine, and toward that goal participated in the summer program to advance research careers at the Dana-Farber Cancer Center. She has participated in a number of educational outreach programs, such as the Al-Noor International Institute for Islamic Studies. She is a member of the National Honor Society, the Neuroscience Club, and the Muslim Students Association, all organizations that value community building for the support of educational advancement. We are intensely proud of you, Irwa, and very happy to bestow on you the 2019 Ryan Award. Congratulations. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge another extraordinary student, Joseph Farah. Joseph, will you please join me on the stage so I can brag on you? A UMass Boston physics major and honors college student, Joseph is a member of the Harvard astrophysics team that won the 2019 Breakthrough Prize in Physics, sometimes referred to as the Second Nobel. Joseph, the only other scientist that I know personally who won the Breakthrough Prize, is now a senior faculty member at Stanford. So now you know you have an extraordinary future ahead of you. The 2019 prize was awarded to the Harvard team for their work photographing the very first image of a black hole, thus confirming empirically what was previously something of a theoretical construct observed mainly for its indirect effects. To see that glorious halo, millions of light years away, was an amazing sight for the entire world. And I'm very proud to note that Joseph was the only undergraduate student on that scientific team, which numbered 347 people. Isn't that amazing? This past spring, Joseph was one of the 496 individuals nationwide to receive a Barry M. Goldwater Scholarship, the preeminent award for undergraduates in the sciences, engineering, and mathematics. More than 5,000 undergraduate STEM students applied for that scholarship for this academic year. Joseph, we are incredibly proud of your work. Now, not to be outdone by our students, it's time to recognize 58 members of our faculty who have been recognized with promotions for the quality of their research, the impact of their teaching, and the value of their service. 29 faculty members, and they are listed up on the screens, received tenure and were promoted to associate professor this year. 13 of our colleagues were promoted to the rank of full professor. 9 faculty members were promoted to senior lecturer, and 7 faculty members were promoted to senior lecturer 2. I would ask anyone on this list who's here this morning to rise so we can applaud your accomplishments. Please stand if you are here. Congratulations.
I would like to take a moment now to introduce 2 new deans. Bob Chen, would you stand, Bob? Over here. Bob Chen is the new interim dean of the School for the Environment. He has been a faculty member here for the past 27 years. His research focuses on transdisciplinary problems involving coasts and communities, and he has served as the principal investigator on more than $35 million in grants. Bob uses student-centered instruction, small group peer learning, live polling, and collaborative assessment to engage the 482 students in his Introduction to Environmental Sciences course. Thank you for taking on the challenging role of dean at this moment. And next to him, Robin Cote, please stand. Robin Cote is the new Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics. He comes to us from the University of Connecticut, where he served as the Associate Dean for the Division of Physical Sciences in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and oversaw graduate studies. His research interests include ultra-cold physics and chemistry, quantum information science, and mesoscopic systems. A prodigious scholar, Robin has 136 publications with more than 8,000 citations. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you over the years. We are also very, very pleased to welcome 20 new tenure-track faculty colleagues recruited to the campus this academic year through national searches. I would like to take a moment to ask their respective deans to come forward and introduce these new faculty to you. Faculty, as your name is announced, please rise to be recognized if you're present and able. Dean Bandyopadhyay, I invite you to the podium to begin the introductions.
Thank you, Emily. Good morning. I am Arindam Bandyopadhyay, the Interim Dean of the College of Management. In our college, we welcome the following faculty. Teddy DeWitt. I know Teddy is here. Teddy is an assistant professor in management in our college. He is originally from Ohio and earned his MBA from Yale and his PhD from the University of Michigan. Prior to earning his PhD, he worked in the financial industry. He is an expert on work organizations, entrepreneurship, and organizational design. Teddy has done extensive research on the way financialization can alter the structure of organizations, and how teams and organizations make sense of and respond to rapidly changing environments. Welcome. Sylvia, I know, is not here. She is finishing off her responsibilities elsewhere in the fall and will join us in spring. Sylvia Dorado Banacloche is an associate professor of management. She earned an MA from MIT and a PhD from McGill University. Most recently, she was an associate professor at the University of Rhode Island. And prior to this role, she worked as an assistant professor at UMass Boston, teaching both undergraduate and graduate students courses such as strategy, entrepreneurship, business and society, and ethics. Sylvia's research interests include social entrepreneurship and social innovation. And she has published numerous papers, articles, and chapters on both topics. Welcome, Sylvia. Matt Rockledge. Matt is also not able to join us this morning. Matt is an assistant professor of marketing. He is originally from South Dakota and earned his MA and PhD from the Ohio State University. He is an expert on social influence and persuasion, big data, and word of mouth. He has been awarded the 2017 Postdoctoral Professional Development Travel Award from Northwestern University and has done extensive research on weighing positive versus negative information. He has been published in numerous journals, chaired symposiums, and presented at conferences. Matt, welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joseph Berger. I'm the Dean of the College of Education and Human Development, and I'm pleased to announce 3 outstanding new faculty members in our college. Dr. Joseph Cooper joins us as the inaugural J. Keith Motley Endowed Chair of Sport Leadership and Administration. Prior to arriving here at UMass Boston, he served as an associate professor at the University of Connecticut, and his research agenda focuses on the intersection between sport, education, race, and culture, with an emphasis on sport involvement as a catalyst for holistic development. Welcome, Joseph. Dr. Christopher Martell is an assistant professor of social studies education in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. Before joining us here at UMass Boston, he was a clinical associate professor at Boston University. His research and professional interests focus on teacher development across the career span, and he is particularly interested in social studies teachers in urban and multicultural contexts and how they use culturally sustaining pedagogy, historical inquiry, and focus on social justice. Welcome, Chris. Dr. Carrie Wilkins-Yell is an assistant professor of counseling psychology. Her research broadly focuses on promoting academic performance and career advancement among women and individuals from communities of color. She joins us after serving 3 years as an assistant professor at Indiana University. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm David Cash. I'm the Dean of the John W. McCormick Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies. I'm pleased to introduce our new faculty member at the McCormick Graduate School, Professor Tian Song. I'm not sure I saw Professor Song here. Excellent. Dr. Song is a gerontologist and demographer who's interested in exploring the social determinants of health. Her work takes a life course approach and examines how early life experience, such as migration and job loss, intersects with family life course to shape health disparities in later life. Welcome, Professor Song.
My name is Bob Chen. I'm the Interim Dean of the School for the Environment, and I'm pleased to introduce the following two faculty. Elizabeth L. Sweet, Betsy, is an internationally recognized urban planning scholar who examines the role that race, class, and gender play in shaping our increasingly uneven patterns of metropolitan development. She will occupy a joint appointment in the School for the Environment, Urban Planning and Community Development Program, and the College of Liberal Arts Africana Studies Program. Welcome, Betsy. Dr. Karen Johannesson is finishing up at Tulane University, will join us in January, is a hydrogeochemist with expertise in the chemical speciation of potentially toxic trace elements and their biogeochemical cycling in the environment. She was awarded the Claire C. Patterson Medal by the Geochemical Society, is the co-editor-in-chief of Chemical Geology, has published over 90 peer-reviewed journal articles, and has raised over $4.6 million in federal funding, among other accolades. And we welcome her in January.
Good morning. My name is Robin Cote. I'm the Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics. I would like to welcome two new faculty in our college. The first one is Funda Durupinar Babur. Pronounce it correctly, I assumed. Funda joined the Department of Computer Science as an assistant professor. Her research links computer graphics, artificial intelligence, and psychology. Originally from Turkey, she received a PhD in Balkan University and continued as a postdoc at the University of Pennsylvania. She also worked at the Oregon Health and Science University as a senior research associate. Welcome. Our second new assistant professor is Daniel Han. Daniel? Daniel also joined the computer science department as an assistant professor. He studies two types of neural networks, actually. One is to understand brain connectivity, and the other one to understand computational intelligence. He received his PhD from Harvard University, and before that, he was a researcher at the Boston Children's Hospital, University of Pennsylvania, Brigham and Women's Hospital, and Apple. Welcome.
Good morning. I am David Turkla, the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, and I'm thrilled to welcome 8 new faculty to the college this year. Daniela Balanzadegi is there you are. Is an assistant professor in the anthropology department, specializing in the African diaspora and Latin America, as well as the history of slavery and racial thinking in that region. She recently received her PhD in archaeology from Simon Fraser University. João de Souza is an assistant professor in the economics department, specializing in the macroeconomic areas of economic growth and development. He comes to us from Middlebury College and earned his PhD in economics at the UMass Amherst. Dania Francis is an assistant professor in the economics department, specializing in areas of labor economics involving gender and race bias, as well as the economics of reparations. We stole her from UMass Amherst, where she was an assistant professor of economics and Afro-American studies, and she received her PhD in public policy from Duke University. Danny Gascon is an assistant professor in the sociology department, specializing in community policing policy. He comes to us from the University of San Francisco and received his PhD in criminology, law, and society from UC Irvine. Welcome, Danny. Devin Attala is teaching, I think, is an assistant professor in the psychology department, specializing in policies to deal with trauma in the school system and the study of intergenerational trauma and resilience processes. He comes to us from Boston University, but I want to particularly note that he received his PhD in clinical psychology from us here at UMB. Nicholas Jurovich is an assistant professor in history and labor studies, specializing in community-based education in schools, public history, and a variety of labor issues. He comes to us from a postdoctoral position funded by the Mellon Foundation and received his PhD in history from Columbia University. Evan Stewart is an assistant professor in sociology, specializing in the study of those not associated with organized religion in the United States and the motivations and voting preferences of non-religious Americans. He received his PhD in sociology from the University of Minnesota. Welcome. And Keto Swan joins us at the rank of professor in the Africana Studies Department, specializing in the 20th century African diaspora, particularly in the South Pacific region. He comes to us from Howard University via 2 years of prestigious fellowships at Harvard and Princeton. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you to the deans for introducing this spectacular new crowd of faculty colleagues. I can't say enough about the people we've managed to recruit this year. It's been a bumper year, and we're all incredibly excited about it. Before we go any further, I want to offer special recognition of the members of our teaching faculty, those colleagues in the ranks of lecturer, senior lecturer, and associate lecturer who do so much to enhance the educational experience of our students and contribute to the scholarly portfolio of the university as well. I would like to ask all of the members of the non-tenure track faculty, whether new or continuing, who are here today to stand and be recognized. Ensuring that the university builds intellectual strength every year is an important mission. There is no better way to reach that goal than to bring new voices onto the faculty and continue to have them speak throughout the years. Chancellor Newman, I invite you back to the podium to offer your remarks to the community.
Thank you so much, Provost McDermott. You know, Convocation is an annual opportunity to talk to the audience about what lies ahead at UMass Boston and about how our mission matters in the world, in our country, in the city of Boston, which is our special home. On this occasion, I think it's worthwhile to return to the bedrock values that animate this campus, with its special mandate to address the aspirations of an urban community composed of people who come from all over the world and all over the Commonwealth to realize their dreams and the ambitions of their families. 60% of our students are the first in their families to attend college, which means that we have a special responsibility here to support them in their quest for a better life. Many of them will leave us with a degree in hand that enables them to join caring professions like nursing, teaching, or gerontology, technical fields like chemistry, economics, or finance, with advanced expertise in public policy or conflict resolution, foundational knowledge in the liberal arts that will make them indispensable to any number of professions. All of these pursuits will position our students to make their way in a world that increasingly values knowledge. But the world out there also values something else that is at the heart of inequality in our economy, personal connections, or what social scientists call social capital. Opening the doors to the professions requires more than knowledge and more than training. It involves knowing the right people who can wedge those doors open. To level that playing field requires an institutional investment, and we are looking to make one in a program we hope to launch this year we're going to call PACE, Professional Apprenticeship and Career Enhancement. PACE will have two major parts. The first involves on-campus apprenticeships, especially for first and second year undergraduate students, who will be attached to volunteers among our staff who will enable them to gather supervised work experience in fields like information technology, finance, theater, communications, health professions, and many others. Because we have the capacity to provide paid work experience that exposes our students to ever more complex projects. We want our professional apprentices to complement what they're learning in class with real-world responsibility on our campus. Graduates of the on-campus apprenticeship program will move into the second part of PACE, the off-campus industry clusters, and you see some of them listed on either side in the screens. Industry clusters are collections of employers who share a common labor market. We hope to have 20 of these clusters in time, and thus far have convened 3 of them in finance, accounting, and communications last semester. 4 others will be meeting for the first time this semester: social services and criminal justice this afternoon, actually, cybersecurity, computer and data science, and banking. And 4 additional clusters will be meeting this spring. The CEOs and vice presidents from these firms coming to our campus are coming often for the very first time, and they are impressed with what they see in our students and faculty. In fact, a number of them have hired straight out of their first visit. A number of our students are already working in the firms that came to visit us through this program. In the future, they will be able to choose from among students who have extensive professional experience on campus in our apprenticeship programs, as complements to their academic background. This combination, we think, will prove to be a winning one, a kind of public education competitor to the model Northeastern University pioneered with its co-op model. The time has come for a major public university to develop its own form of professional experiential education as a complement to what our students learn that is so vital in the classroom. If we can do this on campus and help our working students, which is most of our students, gain professional experience in ways that lessen the burdens of commuting, we will all be so much the better. Another way in which we hope to improve the student experience, and indeed the experience of all of us, is to create a more beautiful campus. On the screens on either side of me, you will see drawings of the green spaces and community amenities that will take the place of the broken substructure. We have already started this project because we have been emptying out the science building and are preparing to recreate the catwalk. But by December of 2021, this beautiful landscape with its picnic groves and basketball court, open lawns, and intimate groves of trees will look out onto the water toward our neighbors at the Kennedy Library and the Edward M. Kennedy Institute. Last year at this time, I promised the Convocation that we would embark on a restoration of the calf pasture pump house. Right now, that magnificent historical structure, do we have a picture of it? I thought we had a picture of it. Well, those of you, you know where it is. That magnificent historical structure, the oldest building on Columbia Point, is a ruin with trees poking out of the window frames and water damage in the interior that has caused the structure to be placed on the list of the most endangered historic buildings in Massachusetts. Happily, the Board of Trustees has now authorized the UMass Building Authority to solicit proposals for the restoration of the pump house and the development of the land immediately around it, which we hope will come to include perhaps a pub, a restaurant, some additional housing, and an environmentally responsible landscape around it. It will take some time for this to come to fruition, especially because the campus will not be borrowing a dime to support this project. But when it's done, the combination of the pump house project and the new quad will create a 21st century waterfront campus that will be the envy of higher education across the country. All of these changes will complement what is sure to be the most dramatic transformation of Columbia Point, the Bayside development. The site of a defunct expo center, Bayside is now poised to welcome new companies that will find research labs on our campus and student interns willing and able to partner with them. Accordia Partners, the developer of the project, will be meeting shortly with colleagues from the School for the Environment, who are experts in climate change, harbor conservation, and land use policy, to exchange insights about the protection and responsible development of the land. Accordia will be holding charrettes on a couple of Saturdays later this month, to which everyone is welcome to attend. They will engage our own campus community more broadly at meetings designed to harvest your ideas about what is most important to grow at Bayside. By the end of this semester, we will have applied to host the Boston Regional Small Business Development Center and the Minority Small Business Development Center. And if we win this competition, we will be in a position to assist the family-owned firms and other businesses of Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan claim a piece of the action at Bayside. That would be my dream come true. Many more people are likely to enjoy it as well if we're successful in that bid, in collaboration with all of our partners here on the Point for another project, to see the Fallon Pier, which is the pier that sticks out into the water just behind the JFK Library, become a regular stop on the harbor ferry system linking downtown Boston to Quincy. We're in the process of evaluating what kind of investment would be needed and where we could find the grants to support a reconstruction of the pier. But if it happens, our campus and all the cultural institutions around us will become places that visitors can access by the water and that students can commute to on ferry boats. It would enable us to host visitors from far and wide for weekend music festivals and movie nights out on that new central quad. As a public institution, we should welcome more citizens. Let them see what we see, this beautiful campus, this most gorgeous waterfront campus. All of this, my friends, is good news. But it comes alongside some sobering truths that we can't avoid. We are still challenged financially, and we will have to work very hard to make sure the campus meets its fiscal targets set by our trustees for a balanced budget. Within the next few weeks, I will be organizing a conversation for staff, faculty, and students on the impact of these budget constraints. This session will either be held at Town Hall or on October 23rd at a separate gathering. We will work with our union leaders on the very best date for that gathering, and we'll share that information with you once it's confirmed. Alongside President Meehan and my fellow chancellors, we will continue to argue, to press for additional investment by the legislature in our campus and for investment by the federal government in infrastructure that would help us defray some of the costs we are having to shoulder right now ourselves. We want them to recognize what everyone in this room knows. UMass Boston is a jewel in the crown of the Commonwealth. It exists to realize the ambitions of the most worthy students and the most talented faculty in this state. And it is an honor for me to serve you all. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Well, now for a little lighter entertainment, I have the pleasure of introducing the UMass Boston Chamber Singers, directed by David Giesau, Senior Lecturer from the Music Department in the College of Liberal Arts. Please remain seated and enjoy the music, while students from several classes join us to hear from our distinguished guest speakers, who I will introduce shortly. Chamber Singers.
May love and laughter light your days and warm your heart and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. May peace and plenty bless your world with joy that long endures. May all life's passing seasons bring the best to you and yours. Best to you and yours.
Thank you so much. These students that are in the row in the front had some homework. So on Monday, I told them we needed to add one more piece to our performance. So they had homework to learn that piece on their own. Give them another round of applause. So here you see the chamber singers for fall 2019, and I put their names and majors up on the screen. You can see that almost all the colleges are represented. 14 singers are from the College of Liberal Arts. 11 are music majors, 6 are in the Honors College, 2 are double majors in addition to their Honors College requirements. What you can't see from the list is that 10 of the students are new to chamber singers this term, and only 8 students are returning seasoned chamber singers. So when I was asked if the chamber singers could perform at Fall Convocation, I was asked in the middle of August, I thought to myself, I have no idea. There are only 8 students registered for the class, which means it might be cut for low enrollment. But we will audition new singers at the end of August and during the first week of classes. And we've always had about 20 singers in the group each semester. So I said, of course we can sing at Fall Convocation. At the end of August, I learned that Mayor Walsh would be the guest speaker at Fall Convocation, and I thought of just the right pieces to preface his address. Since his parents were both Irish Catholic immigrants, I thought we could sing a couple of Irish blessings, one you've heard already. And because we are a nation of immigrants, proud of the diversity of our campus and the city of Boston, and many at UMass Boston are proud of the stance that Mayor Walsh has taken on creating a sanctuary city in Boston, we will now sing Emma Lazarus' famous words about the Statue of Liberty.
wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these the homeless tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Give me your tide, your pool, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of His hand. May God hold you in the palm of His hand.
And now I have to let you know I've been on a mission to teach everyone the UMass Boston alma mater. So at the end of the next commencement, at the end of the ceremony, we always hear the words, "Please stand and join in singing the alma mater." And I look out and I don't see many people singing. So we're going to practice it right now. I want you to all stand and join us in singing the alma mater. It's no-fault harmony. If you sing a note it doesn't sound right, that's okay, it's no one's fault. Just find a new note that sounds better. So sing along with us on the UMass Boston alma mater.
We beheld UMass Boston, a torch in your hand, saw a crown on your brow, heard your voice of command, that we follow the lead of your bold guiding light toward knowledge and wisdom and fervor for right, toward knowledge is here evermore, to that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore, to that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore.
Bravo. Bravo, chamber singers.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Now, I believe we're going to hear a recording of the UMass Boston Jazz Band.
Sorry. There we are. I think we'll save that for later. Before we go on with the program, I can't help but want to ask you all a question inspired by the chamber singer's rendition of the Emma Lazarus Credo. If you are yourself an immigrant, if you are the child of an immigrant or the grandchild of an immigrant, I want you to raise your hand, including the people on the platform party. Practically everyone in this room has an ancestor not long ago who came from somewhere else to become part of this great nation and this extraordinary city. So whatever you hear out of Washington, I want you to remember that this campus stands for exactly what Emma Lazarus's poem commemorates, the extraordinary openness and opportunity that exists in a community like this, and our absolutely steadfast commitment to being sure that this campus is here to be welcoming, to be protective, to ensure the security and peace of mind of our extraordinary students, staff, and faculty who have come from everywhere. We have a new element of convocation this year that involves the recognition of a special member of our alumni community. It will be reserved going forward to introduce you to people who have made a significant contribution to the improvement of the university after they graduated. It is a distinct pleasure for me to introduce you to the first of these alumni to be recognized, Talita Guerrero. She is a truly remarkable woman who only just a few years ago was just like the undergraduates in the audience today. And before I bring her to the podium, I'm going to ask her extraordinary family, including her amazing pistol of a daughter, to stand up and be recognized. Talita's family. There she is. We expect to see you, young lady. Talita graduated from the College of Management in 2015, and only a few short years later founded her own company, Right Key Mortgage, a lender who provides loans to homeowners in several states. While a student here, she was the recipient of the Charles J. Hoff Leadership Scholarship, which she received from one of the university's most generous benefactors, Charlie Hoff. Talita made the most of Charlie's support, and in recognition of what he enabled her to accomplish, returned the favor to the university by endowing a scholarship for students who were just like her, the Talita Guerrero You Can Scholarship Program at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I have asked her to recall her story, to explain why she created this scholarship, and to give you a chance to thank one absolutely inspiring beacon. Ladies and gentlemen, Talita Guerrero.
Hi, guys. Wow, it's so awesome to be back here. Thank you. It's truly a privilege, and I thank UMass for this opportunity to be able to tell my story. You know, I was sitting just like a lot of you a few years ago at this very campus, nervous, very nervous to start my undergraduate career, but I was excited, and I was excited because I had a big why and an even bigger dream. just like a lot of you. I think a lot of you students are here today because you have a dream, right? I came here at 12 years old. I'm originally from Brazil. I immigrated here with my parents. We didn't speak a word of English, so assimilating here was extremely difficult. Without English, as you know, there's not a lot of high-paying jobs. We were undocumented. So my parents worked 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. It was difficult at the time, but we got through it. As my parents were busy working, we didn't have much supervision, and therefore, we lost focus. Just fell through the cracks and didn't focus in school. And at 15 years old, I found out I was expecting a baby. At my 16th birthday, I dropped out of high school. At the time, felt like it was the right thing to do so I could work, raise my son. Little did I know that I was clueless. A week after I dropped out of high school and turned 16, I, at 26 weeks of gestation, went into labor. It was very scary. At the time, I lived in the Cape, so they transferred me to a hospital in Boston to give birth to my son. This is where I get emotional. He was extremely sick, and I remember one day being in the Cape at home and getting a phone call that said, you should come to Boston and see your baby. He was struggling, at only 2 pounds. He was struggling with his white blood cells, so they needed to do a blood transfusion. Me and his dad, who sits here today with me, drove to Boston and, to maybe say our goodbyes. But luckily that day, we drove back home, and deep inside, I knew that if that little boy made it, I was gonna give him the absolute best life, despite my circumstances and challenges and being a teen mom. So luckily, he fought it. He's an amazing kid. He's not here today. He's very focused in school and sports, so he didn't want to miss football. So, he fought his way through and made it. And I had a commitment to be the best mom I could possibly be. So, I went back and got my GED, started studying while he was still in the hospital in Boston. Took him 3 months to be discharged. And I got my GED. I enrolled in college, community college, to take some classes. And I started working really hard. At 18, I luckily got the opportunity to start working for a mortgage company, a local mortgage company in the Cape. And with that, I was invited, I got a job offer to move to Boston. So I did. That was the best move I have ever made, and that's why I started UMass Boston. I applied after taking a long break and giving birth to my second beautiful child, who sits right here. And I knew that I wanted to be an example to them. I wanted to be an example of hard work and perseverance. So I started at UMass. It was a very difficult journey. I was working full-time, raising my kids, and taking classes full-time. So lots of late nights, doing homework, but the faculty here, all of the professors were so supportive and helped me through. During my time here, I made it to Dean's List a couple of times. And as you know, for a student who dropped out of high school and it's not an athlete or academically gifted, it was very difficult for me to pay for my education. But I applied for one scholarship that was available for me, the Charles Hoff Scholarship. And I sat with Charlie. He interviews all of his students. And he was so inspirational. And all I really had was a dream and a decent essay. But he chose me, and he invested in me for the rest of my academic career. And for that, I will be forever thankful. And it wasn't, thank you. And it truly wasn't just because of the financial burden that he lifted off of me, but it was the fact that he believed in me. That was incredible. At the time, my family had already moved back, so I was here by myself with the friends that have become family and are sitting here today. So, to give back, the minute I graduated, I got on and started working extremely hard, as I always have, and I co-founded Reiki Mortgage with my partner, Chris Doyle, and it's just been such a blessing, this company, not just to have an incredible company, but all the tools that I've learned at UMass helps me with the challenges that I face every day in business. The really most important part that I took from UMass is believing that I can do it. And the faculty here makes you believe that you can do it. The act of discipline, perseverance, all of those tools, I took it from here and put it out in the world. And now we have an amazing company that employs close to 30 people, so it's awesome. And we do business in 6 states, and I love every single minute of it. I never ever thought that I could live this life. It's beyond my wildest dream. I mean, my beautiful daughter is 8 years old. We just made it to our 20th country. So that's pretty incredible. We've traveled the world. Thank you. We experience a lot, and really, guys, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. So get out there, embrace the culture in this wonderful school, absorb all of the information that you're getting here. Because honestly, this is just the beginning of all of your journey to living out your dreams. For you, faculty, thank you. You guys, the work that you do is so incredibly powerful, and it truly changes lives. So I thank you for your hard work, help, and inspiration, because today I'm living out my dreams because of all of you. So thank you so much.
Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of UMass Boston. An extraordinary story. We are so, so delighted to have you as our alum. So proud of you, Talita, and of your entire family. Well, I can't think of a better way to celebrate the opening of this academic year than to invite our extraordinary convocation speaker, Mayor of our great city of Boston, Martin J. Walsh. Mayor Walsh is the city's 54th mayor. He is a lifelong champion of working people and a proud product of the city of Boston. His vision of a thriving, healthy, and innovative Boston, a city inspired and aspiring to make good on the promise of equality and opportunity for all, where a revolutionary history inspires creative solutions to the 21st century. Since taking office, Mayor Walsh has focused on strengthening Boston's schools, adding hundreds of high-quality pre-kindergarten seats, funding extended leave time, learning time, and advanced curriculum at more schools, and securing tuition-free community college for Boston public school graduates. How about that? Many of those extraordinary students end up here, and we're glad of them. The mayor has led Boston to the forefront of the innovation economy by attracting industry-leading private sector employers, upgrading the city's digital infrastructure, and using technology to transform government services from a parking meter payment app to a new city website. At the same time, he has created powerful tools for low-income workers, including a Learn and Earn apprenticeship program and an Office of Financial Empowerment. He is the founding vice chair of the Cities of Opportunity Task Force at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, elevating the national conversation about income inequality. The Walsh administration has addressed tremendous need for housing in this city, with an ambitious plan setting records for new, affordable, and middle-class homes. In addition, it has built state-of-the-art homeless shelters and gotten the city on a path to effectively ending chronic homelessness. His administration was hailed by President Obama for expanding young people's opportunities and breaking new ground in crime prevention and police-community relations. The city of Boston, our home city, has been recognized for creating the very first municipal Office of Recovery Services to prevent and treat substance abuse, the first cultural plan in a generation to restore Boston's identity as an arts leader. And in a sign of strong fiscal management and economic policy, the city's perfect AAA, that's 3 A's, bond ratings, unlocking unprecedented investments in parks, libraries, and public safety. Finally, the mayor has invited the people of Boston to help build a blueprint for the city's future in Imagine Boston 2020, the first citywide plan in half a century. It's worth remembering that Mayor Walsh also made his mark, maybe his first mark, as a labor leader. After following his father into labor's Local 223 in Boston, he rose to head the Building and Construction Trades Council from 2011 to 2013. He worked in business, with business and community leaders to promote high-quality development and created a program called Building Pathways that has become a model for increasing diversity in the workplace and providing good career opportunities for women and people of color. Born and raised, like so many people in this room, in the neighborhood of Dorchester by immigrant parents, Mayor Walsh is driven to make sure Boston is a city where anyone can overcome their challenges and fulfill their dreams. So please join me in welcoming the Honorable Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to thank you, Chancellor Newman, for that introduction, and thank God you read it so long, because I didn't want to follow Tlita at the microphone here. She did an amazing job, and to the students that are in this room, listen to her story. As some of you were walking in as she was speaking, and she talked about being an immigrant and the challenges. Remember that story, and I'm going to talk a little more about that in a few minutes. I want to thank all the students that are here. I want to thank the faculty, all the new faculty. Welcome. We're excited to have you here. To all the staff and the people that make this institution run, thank you. To the trustees on the stage that from UMass System, thank you for being here with us. To the sports, to all the different organizations, I want to thank everyone for being here. It's a great honor to be here this morning to celebrate the start of the new school year. As a city, I am proud of UMass Boston, quite honestly. I was a state representative for many years, and this was an area, this was a school that I kind of kept an eye on because it means so much to me. And as mayor, it means even more. It's Boston's only public institution, public university. We have Mass Art that is public, but I take credit for UMass Boston as a public institution. It's an engine of discovery. It's a hub for arts and culture, and it's an anchor of opportunity. And those just aren't words. That's the foundation of what the school is all about. It's both a commuter school and a residential school. People that come to school here, some of you work 3, 4, 5 jobs, and some of you, I just met 3 incredible young people outside that were in nursing and engineering programs, and they're from Brockton area, and it's amazing to see that people actually get a chance, young people get a chance to come here and live on campus now. It's also the diverse and international campus. I would probably argue or say, I don't think I'm going on a limb here, it's probably the most diverse campus in the state. When you walk around this campus. And the beauty about this campus is you see the cultures and you hear the different cultures. And that's so important for an institution like UMass to have. Last year, the student body represented 140 different countries, just like BPS. And the last thing I want to say, it's also the best campus in the UMass system. There is no question. Like the city of Boston, UMass is growing. It's come a long way since it was founded in the 1960s and built in the 1970s. There used to be a state representative, his name was Bob Quinn, and a state senator named George Keneally, and they talked about bringing a system, a university system to Boston, to Dorchester. And a bunch of representatives at the time and state senators got together and they were able to bring a university to this site we're in today. My father worked on the building, the first UMass building in 1974. I remember being a little kid and he was a construction worker. And I remember coming over and seeing him. There was a fire in the front building. There's a vent there. You see a big kind of brown vent. I remember being a kid watching the fire go in that building. But he was a construction worker here. I had no idea that he was working on a building that was going to make such a huge impact in so many people's lives for the next generations to come after that. My father was an immigrant. He's from Ireland. He came here in 1950. He didn't have an education. He had like a 6th grade education, and when he came, he was able to join the laborers union. And that union brought him to build buildings like this, build hospitals in the city of Boston, build buildings in town. It was able to allow him the opportunity to earn money. And he met my mother here, who's from Ireland as well. She came a few years later and raised 2 kids in Dorchester across the street. So when I think about immigration, I think about immigrants, I think about UMass Boston, I think about bringing back to the community, I think about full circle, because it certainly is full circle here in this neighborhood. In recent years, as mayor, I've been proud to watch cut the ribbon on milestones. And as a state representative, those of you that new faculty, you probably don't know this, and new students, so you definitely don't know this. We started a project around '97 to do a master plan of this building, of this campus. We started looking at what do we have to do here? How do we make sure UMass stays relevant and stays competitive, UMass Boston that is, in Boston in education? In 2015, we cut ribbon on the integrated science complex, which is out front. And that was to really create opportunities for students. That was about students. That building's about you. It was not about faculty. It was not about chancellors. It was not about the board of trustees. It was about how do we attract more kids and more young people to our school to allow them to get educated in the jobs of the future. That's how that building was built. The Harbor Walk in 2015, how do we connect our campus and the community, because this is a community school, how do we connect our campus and our community back to the ocean? And how do we do that? And that's what's going on with the Harbor Walk and thinking about making connections. University Hall in 2016, another one, an important aspect to the education. Last year, the university's first residence hall on campus. I was excited. That was not easy. In '98, we had a conversation in the neighborhood about building a dorm, and it was pretty difficult. As a state representative, and any of you go into a meeting, it's like maybe in the union members here, it's like being in a union meeting. It starts out with everyone starts, how you doing, and then we bang the gavel, and there you go. And it's kind of like, here we go. And that's kind of what happened, but we're able to get the residence hall. And actually, this building, Lorraine, it's not in my notes, but this building is the first. This building here, the campus center, really started to change this campus in a whole different way, because you as students didn't have a place to congregate. You had the hallways and the areas outside, but you really didn't have a place to congregate. And when this campus center was open, so many great things happened in this building, and it really was an invitation to the world to say, come look at UMass Boston. And I want to congratulate the school. UMass Boston is also fueling research discoveries and helping us shape our city. And many of your students that are here and the faculty that you're working on now, or you're going to be working on, is doing that. It's happening in the labs on campus. I want to thank you for your work. It's happening in the startup incubators on campus, where entrepreneurs and residents are launching technology in the life science companies. I remember when that started, I think it was around 2001 maybe. Senator Jack Hart at the time got some money from the legislature to start doing some incubator space. It was kind of new. It was a new idea in the city. We had some of these companies that were doing it privately, but we weren't doing it here on campus. And it's a game changer, because when I just met with some folks outside, one of the young men said, I said, he's a senior, I said, what are you going to work? He goes, I'm hoping to get a job at Amazon. That's a great thing to hear, because Amazon wasn't here 10 years ago either, in Boston. So we're having a lot of companies that are here now want to recruit talent, and you are the talent. And the faculty that's here is going to be the ones educating you to get you into that talent pool. So that's important for us here. Earlier this year, it happened, I'm all over the place now, I apologize, I'll come back. Earlier this year, UMass and their diverse academic centers released Changing Faces of the Greater Boston Report. We knew what was happening in Boston, but it shows our region's population is driven by immigrants of color. When you think about it, Boston, Massachusetts, when you think about Boston, And I know I'm not going to go too political on you here today. I might go a little bit, but we are an immigrant city, number one. Number two, we have about 700,000 people that live in Boston. 28% of those people were born in another country. 48% of those people are first generation, like I raised my hand. And then if you go on the line, about nearly 100% of our city, we're sons and daughters of immigrants. Our families came from another place. They came here for different reasons. Some of them came. My father came here, quite honestly, to earn some money and send it back to his family in Ireland so that they could raise his younger brothers and sisters. My mother came to this country when she was 17 years old, 16 and a half, 17. She came to this country the same reason, to earn some money and send it back home to help her family with her younger brothers and sisters. There are families in this room. Your parents came here from Haiti and Cabo Verde and Central America and other places to do the same exact thing, to earn some money, to send money back home. Be proud of that. And the report showed us that UMass has a long record of expanding opportunities and being a partner, and we need to continue to use UMass as a system to do that. The teachers and the students and the faculty, you're all part of a UMass community that's during a very exciting time in transformation. There's growing pains. UMass Boston is going through growing pains in the sense of it's a different university. We still have the basic fundamental of what it is. It's created as a commuter school. The mission is still to educate people. The mission is still to allow people the opportunity to come in here and get educated and do better things with their life than maybe their parents did. So, but there's also growing pains because it's a different place in some ways today. And I want to thank all of you for continuing to add to this. To the young people in the room, I see a lot of students. I just want to quickly show of hands. Any freshmen in the room? Raise your hand if you're a freshman. All right. Are you all from? Any sophomores in the room? Raise your hand if you're a sophomore. Any juniors in the room? Raise your hand if you're a junior. And any seniors in the room? Raise your hand if you're a senior. All right, we got 2 seniors. And I asked you that because this next part is going to be a little bit about who I am and what brought me here. I already told you my parents, where they're from. They're from Ireland. I'm a proud son of immigrants. I grew up literally less than a mile from here. I grew up by Columbia Road near St. Margaret's Church. I went to St. Margaret's Grammar School. I went to Newman Prep High School. I went to Boston College, but before I got to Boston College, I went to Quincy Junior College, and I went to Suffolk for a semester, and then I'll go into that story in a minute. But I grew up in this neighborhood, and I love this neighborhood, number one. And because my parents came from Ireland, I wanted to be a college graduate. I wanted to go to college because I thought for me it was important. And quite honestly, I wanted to be a college graduate because back then, my father went to work every day, and he got dirty as a construction worker, and I always thought the 2 things I wanted to do was wear a suit and tie going to work every day, because I didn't know what it meant, but I wanted to wear a suit and tie going to work every day, and I wanted a business card. I thought it was really important, because if you had a business card, you're really important. Now today it's a little different. Today you need like a Instagram account, LinkedIn page, Facebook page, you need a Twitter account. So back then it was a business card, and that's what I wanted. And when I was younger, I would hang out with my friends and do my stuff and party and all that stuff, and I thought it was cool. At 18, 19, 20 years old, I had a lot of fun in my life. I wasn't a great student in school. I wasn't a great student in high school. As a matter of fact, I was a terrible student in high school. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and I didn't get into any college I wanted to go to, so I decided to go to Quincy Junior College for a year. And I did. I went for a year, and I did well. And I realized that I can actually do this work. And then I went to Suffolk University because that's where I wanted to go to college. And because I didn't get into Suffolk, but I got into Suffolk the second year because they said if you did well, we would get you in. So I transferred into Suffolk. And my first semester there, I did my grades. I did okay, but I wanted to make money now. I'm 20-something years old. I remember, I might have been 20, 21, maybe even younger. And I wanted to make money. I was like, I'll come back to school. So I quit school. And I told my parents, I said, I'm going to go back to school. And they're like, you're not going to go back to school. And I pushed aside my dream and goal of aspiration of that business card and that suit and tie. And I went to work construction. When I was working construction, I was partying with my friends. And my partying turned from being fun to problematic, meaning I was drinking too much and I was turning over. And what happened was I was an alcoholic. I didn't realize it. And at the age of 28, I found myself in a detox. And it's not something where I wanted to be. Nobody wants to end up in a detox. I don't think anyone thinks when you're drinking a beer and you black out, or you whatever, you're smoking some weed and you black out, that you think that's a problem. You just think that's a normal course of life, but no, it's an issue. And I found myself in a detox. And when I got to detox, I didn't go there to stop drinking. I went there because I wanted to get the heat off me, because everyone was mad at me. And the first night I was there, somebody spoke. It was a meeting that came in, an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And it's pretty embarrassing on detox. When you go in, you bring your bag when you go in there, and they go through the bag, and they take anything out of it. They take like your cologne out of the bag. They take your, if you have mouthwash out of the bag. You kind of lose a little bit of dignity, and you realize that you think your life is ending when you go in there, or I thought my life was ending. And when I got in there, the first night I was there, I went to an AA meeting in the place, and somebody spoke, a guy spoke. I don't know what he said today, I don't remember what he said, but he changed my mindset of being there because I want to get the heat off to kind of listening a little bit. And I spent some time, that whole week, I was there for a week, and I listened to counselors tell me about what alcoholism is, and I learned that it's an addiction. And I learned about what cravings are, and I learned about what yet is. And a yet for me is I'm not a drug addict because I never did drugs, but for me, if I pick up a drink today, there's no choice, no chance, it might happen that I will actually use drugs. I just didn't at the time because I didn't want to ruin the buzz when I was drinking, quite honestly. When I got out of there, something really profound happened. My life started to get better. I didn't go back to the bar rooms. I did go back to the bar rooms. I drank after a little while, but I was telling the guy in a meeting, one AA meeting, that, you know, I still hang out at the bar I used to drink at, and I drink ginger ale, and he flipped out. He goes, you can't go there because it's a trigger for you. And I filled my life with Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and I filled my life with coaching. I was coaching Little League and running Little Leagues and doing all that stuff. And what happened was, slowly but surely, my hope and my desire for what I wanted to do with that business card changed into, I knew what the business card meant. It meant a career. And it meant pursuing a dream. And a year and a half later, I was pursuing my dream. I was running for state representative for Dorchester. And I ran and I won. And I also understood that it was important for me to get my college degree to go back to school. And I went to Boston College, and I enrolled in the night school. It's called the Woods College now, it was called Advancing Studies. And I went to Boston College, and while I was working as a state rep, I was going to school, and it was hard. It was hard. I can't tell you the amount of times that I drove to school, and I was sitting in front of, parked on Beacon Street, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't need this. I think I quit school in my head probably over the course of a bunch of years, 1,000 times. I said, I don't need this. And then the little voice would say, you need to get the college degree. And because two people had challenged me years before that. They had said, when I dropped out of school, they said, you're not going to go back to school. And I respected these two people. And for like literally 15 years, they're in my head. Like, I think about them all the time, and I'm like, these bastards are in my head. I can't get them out of my head. And I chipped away one class at a time. And the last night of school, I went into my class. I remember I go into my class. I did my last class at Boston College. I was pretty pumped. It took me like 35 years. I was pretty excited. I didn't live on campus, because I could be the parents now of the kids on campus. And I got to my car, and the first person I called was my mother, to let my mother know. My father had died, to let my mother know that I graduated. I finished BC today, Mom. And she was excited, because she was excited of being an Irish mother from Ireland, excited about that her son graduated college #1 and Boston College #2. I called those two people from years before that told me I was going to quit. And I called them both separately, and I thanked them. I thanked them because I said, if it wasn't for you, there's a good chance I wouldn't have graduated. I wouldn't have finished my last class at Boston College tonight. Because sometimes it's that challenge, that inspiration that you need. My message to the young people in this room, particularly to the freshmen and sophomore and juniors, there's a couple seniors. If you quit now, seniors, there's something wrong with you. So I don't, you know, you're almost there. You have like 6 classes left. Like, you can do it. Suck it up and get it done. But to the freshmen and the sophomores and the juniors and other kids here, there's going to be days when you want to quit. But it's important for you to keep an eye on what your future is. Because your decisions as young people have consequences for you and your families. Your decisions, if you quit school, you don't have an opportunity to access some of these great companies that are coming to our city. You don't have bragging rights in your families to tell your families that you graduated college. You shut off a whole bunch of opportunities that you otherwise don't know if you'd ever have. If I decided to quit school back in 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when I was running for mayor, I couldn't stand on a stage and say, I went to Boston College. When I was on the stage, I couldn't talk about what my college experience did for me. That would have been missing out of my story. People in Boston would say, oh, I love Marty Walsh, he's a nice guy, but you know something, he graduated high school. Do we want our high school graduate to be the mayor of the city? Maybe, maybe not. It's important because it's about connections. Because while I was in college, even though I was older, I was in a class with Mr. Murphy, who taught, he was doing writing. And Mr. Murphy used to have us go in front of the class and present our story the way we wrote it. Not just read the story like I'm reading the speech, but read the story the way we wrote it. And what Mr. Murphy didn't realize at the time, that Mr. Murphy was giving me confidence in my life to be able to do public speaking, even though I was a state representative, but he was giving me the confidence to be able to write a narrative and a story, to be able to tell that story to the audience and how to do that. That was important for me. Or it was important for me to be in theology class and learning about other religions, because I'm a Catholic, so we pretty much, Catholics pretty much stay to ourselves. We go to church, we get up, we kneel down, we pray, we do this, we go out, we try to get in there for 45 minutes. If the priest does it in 35 minutes, even better, 15 minutes, even faster, if we can get out of there. But I had a chance to hear other religions. And, and one of my professors was a Methodist. I think he was a Methodist. And I kind of went to him, I go, you have an interesting religion. I said, I kind of like your religion. He said, you should come join us. He said, my mother will kill me if I go to see you. But my point is, when you're the mayor of the city and you're talking to people, there's all kinds of different cultures and faiths in the room. It's not simply Catholicism. Some people don't believe in anything. That's okay. Some people are Muslim. Some people are Baptist. All the different religions out there. Some people Jehovah. It's important. I learned that at school to understand the different cultures and different religions. I learned that in school. There's so many other things I learned. So my message to the students in this classroom, in this room today is, when I went to orientation, I thought that's what this was today, orientation. It was convocation. I had to ask Tyler, can you tell me the difference between convocation and orientation? Because I know graduation, and I know it, and, So I went to orientation. And a guy got up and he told a whole bunch of funny stories in my first day at Boston College. And he says, don't do what I did. And he got up and he talked about how he quit school. He talked about how he was an alcoholic. He talked about all these different things, and I could completely identify with him. I identified everything he said. I identified every single thing he said. Except the one thing I didn't listen to him when he says, don't drag this out forever and don't quit school. And in my head, I quit literally 1,000 times, and I dragged it out forever. And what I'm saying to the students in this room is, stay focused, stay mission-driven. There's going to be difficult times. Ask questions. You're college kids, you don't ask questions. This is a true story. I'm in school, and I pick these classes. As I'm picking my classes, I try to pick the classes that only had tests, not papers. I swear to God. And I'd go in the first night and I'd get the syllabus, and the syllabus would say, because it was only short. It was night school, so it was like, I think it was like 12 weeks or something. You fit in 2.5 hours every night. And I'd be like, it'd be like, okay, 3 weeks, and then paper 1 due, 3 weeks paper 2 due, 3 weeks paper 3 due, and then like, okay. And then that night I'd get up and smile, and I'd pull out my book and look for another class, and I'd withdraw and transfer into it. And so finally I said, like, I got to take some classes, and I was intimidated. I hadn't written a paper in forever. And I'm an older person now. I'm like not like 18 or 17. I'm like 20 something, maybe 30. And I walked into a professor one day and I said, can I talk to you? And they said, yeah. I said, I'm kind of, I haven't really written a paper in a long time. And the professor said, come to my office after class. So after class, I went to the professor's office. And she took time to sit with me and explain to me what I learned in high school about setting up my story and how to do it. And from that point on, when I went back home, I was able to do it. I was able to do it the day before, but I didn't understand how to set it up. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I was a state representative in my 30s and felt like I should know every answer to everything, and I didn't, and I was afraid to ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask questions to the students that are here today. To the faculty, thank you for what you do, because you're inspirations to the students. There are so many professors that I had at Boston College, and I remember a couple at Quincy Junior College as well, but in BC, that were inspirations to me, because I thought it was fascinating that people spent their entire career teaching and educating and giving knowledge to young people. Always keep that up front. No matter what's happening on the campus, no matter what's happening with all the conversations going on, I know there's conversations going on, it's no secret. But you are the bread and butter, you are the lifeline to this university. Without you, this university isn't the best in the system. Without you, the young people that graduate, and when they graduate in May, or June, I think it's May, when they walk down that aisle, you are putting a whole bunch of people out in the workforce that we need in the city of Boston. You're educating so many young people that depend on you, so I want to thank you for that. I want you to remember to keep that up front. Particularly, not the older faculty, you've done it for a long time, the newer faculty. I know you're excited today, keep that excitement. Talk to somebody who's been here for a long time. You need to keep that excitement moving forward. Because without you, we don't have UMass. We don't have UMass Boston. Quite honestly, we don't have a UMass system. So I want to thank the faculty. I think I'm over my time. Because you're college students, I'm supposed to talk about climate resiliency and climate change and the environment. I love it. Keep fighting for it. Anyone who came to City Hall, diversity is Boston's strength. Diversity is this institution's strength. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. Get active. Get active. We have a very important, I'm going to do one politic thing. I'm not telling you who to vote for next year. I shouldn't have to tell you who to vote for next year. We have a presidential election coming up. Get active. What does that mean? That means understand who's running. That means get to know the candidates. That means make sure people are registered to vote. You might not be able to go on the campaign and go campaign in Iowa and South Carolina and all these places, but what you can do is get people registered to vote. Get people active in their community. Elections have consequences. Making sure that UMass Boston has a delegation at the State House and at City Hall that care about the future of this school is important. So make sure you get active and you stay active. Lastly, keep dreaming, follow your dreams, and I'm proud of each and every student on this campus. I'm proud of each and every faculty member on this campus. I want to thank the trustees for their work, for their volunteers. I want to thank people. This is an amazing institution. Seniors, you are about to be part forever of an amazing institution. When you graduate, you're an alum. Come back to the school and give back to the school. The students that are here, this is your school. Be proud of this school. Brag about this school. And dream big and follow your dreams, because trust me, I follow my dream. I love what I do every single day. There's difficult times. But when I was a young kid, at some point in my life, I wanted to be mayor of the city of Boston. I grew up across the street. I grew up in Dorchester. I went to night school at Boston College. My parents are from another country, and I'm the mayor of the city of Boston. Thank you.
Are we lucky or what to have such extraordinary leadership for this city? Mayor Walsh, we're just incredibly grateful that you took the time to be with us and to share your story with us today. We rely on you every day to lead this city and to be a beacon for the beacons. So we are grateful to you for being here and for supporting this university. I want to thank both Talita Guerrero and Mayor Walsh for showing us what that very well-worn phrase, overcoming adversity, really means. It means becoming the very best you can be. And we're going to give them a couple of gifts to thank them for that. But while I do that, I just want to thank all of you for coming. I know many of the students have to go off to class now, and the faculty have to teach as well. I hope this is a wonderful, wonderful year for everyone. Go Beacons. Have a great day. Thank you for coming today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats and rise for the academic recessional. Thank you.
see if you need